Imagination Gamer here's typing. I hadn't actually realised I had the microphone on. While I was typing, I was just pinging the Discord, just to let people know about this surprise stream. And I didn't realise, but yes, okay, good. Clearly the sound works. That's good. Gosh, it's been a while since we've done this. I'm going to start any second now. Just give it a bit. Kind of nervous. Been ages since I did this. Feel kind of awkward. I assume I'll get back into the swing of things. Here we go. Right. Let us begin. Hello, Internet! Hope you're all well and that things is good and so on and so forth. What is up? Y'all, sorry, don't know what's happening. Been a while, been quite rusty at this. Yeah, how you all doing, everyone? It is 2024. Happy New Year. Hope you all had a lovely festive break. Hope you all got up to lots of fun things, or at least stopped doing things for a bit, which is, to be honest, the most important part of a break for me. It's very, very important to just do nothing. Yeah, hope stuff has all been good for all of you. Welcome to a relatively contentless stream. I can't promise anything particularly exciting at all will happen over the course of this stream, which will probably only be about half an hour long. But I'm doing it basically because I've toyed with the idea of doing another stream for ages, and I always thought, oh, it's not the best time for it. Oh, I haven't got enough to do. Oh, I've only got half an hour this afternoon, and there's always a reason not to, and I just thought, 2024, right, I'm just going to do it. Let's just do it. I've got nothing to say. I've got nothing to do, but we're going to just catch up for half an hour, and that's fun. So that's what we're doing, and I hope it's full of fun, and if it isn't, then that's fine. You don't have to watch. But yeah, hi, I'm going to say hello to each of you. Hello, Imagination Gamer. Hello, Captain Green Coin. Hello, oh, that's a tricky one. Kotsuka Kururiko. Hello, Staril. Hello, Kalimari. Hello, The Ripchen. Hello, Philip Morgan. Hello, Cicero. Hello, did I already say Cicero? Hello, Jasper Hayes. Hello, Check. Hello, Tactical Shadows and Autistic Girl 12 and Morgan Knives and Nate the Great. Hello, Stonks Boy NZ. Hello, K-Doodles. Hello, Comics Writer, Present 99. Happy New Year, one and all. Okay, so there was a question straight away from Kotsuga before we even started the stream. Had I ever thought of putting Lucian into Elder Kings 2, the mod for Crusader Kings 3? I probably won't do that. The reason being that I've never played Crusader Kings 3, and making Lucian into a mod for a mod would be quite a niche thing to do, so I probably won't do that. But, you know, we'll put that in the box of ideas that have been suggested, and you never know, maybe one day I'll suddenly decide, right, well, enough people want it, and it feels like, basically, I tend to make things because they're fun for me to do. So that's not one that's personally crossed my mind, but thank you for the suggestion. And, yeah, if I ever find myself playing that and feeling like it would be a good thing to do with my time, then by all means, I will totally consider it. But yeah, right. Sorry if that's a bit disappointing. But Captain Greencoin Lucian is one of my favourite mods. Thank you so much. I'm very glad to hear it. Stonksboy NZ calling me out straight away with still not getting around to doing Lucian the Dragonborn Season 2. Thank you for keeping my feet on the ground. I know I meant to do it. I said I would do it last year. Those of you who keep up with what I'm doing, you'll have realised last year all went a bit haywire for a number of reasons. So all those wonderful best laid plans all collapsed. But this year's going to be a better year, I've decided. So we shall see. Quick life update on me, by the way. PhD. I almost have. Almost. I had my Viva at the end of last year. It was really quite tough, but I got through it with what's called minor corrections, which meant I had to do some corrections. I had to do some sort of extra tweaks to my thesis, which I have done and submitted, and I'm waiting for the final, assessment of those corrections as to whether they're good enough or not to give me the PhD. And depending on what they say, I will hopefully soon be a doctor. That would be nice. Hopefully they won't say that they hate it. But, they have minor corrections, and I've done the minor corrections, so I've done what they asked for. So fingers crossed, we shall see. Hopefully they like it. I have a job now. I'm working as a postdoctoral researcher, which is kind of weird because I'm not actually postdoc yet. I'm still I'm still docking, but postdoctoral researcher in my field, which, as Kevin the Prince Dragon was just asking you, a doctor in what field? In biomedical engineering. I work in prosthetics, developing prosthetic devices, or I have been as part of the PhD. The postdoctoral research position is slightly different. It's to do with it's more assistive technology, wearables. It's sort of an existing project I've been attached to, which is a smart mouthguard project, which is quite cool as a project. It's quite a cool project. It's about it's making this instrumented mouthguard to monitor things like blood pressure and blood oxygen, blood oxygen and pulse and breathing and motion and temperature and all of that for people playing sport. The idea being that you can detect things like overexertion, sort of exhaustion, which might lead to risk of injury, and actually detect injury itself, whether someone's at risk of concussion from impact, that kind of thing. And I'm hoping I can use those kind of biological metrics to sort of further develop my own work prior to that, which has been in intent sensing. So to try and use that kind of predictive stuff, that kind of information to make predictions about sort of activities someone might be likely to do next, in this case in a sporting environment. So that's what I'm doing. So I have a job with the university where I have a normal 9 to 5 kind of thing where I do that. So that's what I've been up to. And it's all been quite busy. With the Viva and the corrections and Christmas and then the new job and everything, which is one of the many excuses I have for why I haven't been doing this kind of thing nearly so much, and why you still haven't got another Lucian update, and you still haven't got another Lucian the Dragonborn season, and you still haven't got another tutorial episode and stuff. You have got more Treacle People. We did the Treacle People Christmas special, and we've got Treacle People Season 2 starting today, immediately after this stream, so I'm hoping some of you will come across with me over onto that at the end of this sort of half-hour catch-up, which will be fun. It is quite a lot of work doing the Treacle People stuff, and also my dad's my late father was a TV producer, and he did another show other than the Treacle People. He did another a kids show called Captain Mac, which I don't sort of plug for you guys so much, because it's very much, Captain Mac is very much aimed at sort of, preschool 5 to 8 year old kind of area, whereas the Treacle People is suitable for all ages, but with jokes that are very much kind of written for grown-ups. So I plug Treacle People because that's something that I think you guys will genuinely enjoy, but I've also been doing this thing, Captain Mac, which has had weekly episodes going out for the last, since March as well. And that's really time consuming as well. And it's all just juggling everything, But it's all good fun and exciting. And there's lots of fun stuff going on with that. And it's just really nice to sort of be involved a bit in Dad's world and preserving his legacy and getting it out there to more viewers. And I've been in touch with a lot of the people he used to work with, a lot of people involved with creating the shows, coming up with new ideas and things that we can do with them. And it's exciting and it's fun. But it doesn't have me in front of the camera nearly so much as that stuff. So it's another reason why you haven't heard so much from me. But that's fine. Sorry. And I'm doing the thing now that I hate. I always find it really annoying. Personally, when I'm subscribed to a YouTube channel, I say I find it annoying, it depends on the context, but if I'm subscribed to a channel and then I hear nothing from that channel then, except apologies for why they haven't been posting on that channel, and it's I don't mind, but I want to see content, not apologies for lack of content. Like, it doesn't, if the content becomes the apology for the lack of content, that's totally what I'm doing now. This whole stream is me talking about why I haven't been making stuff. But we'll gloss over that. Anyway, more stuff. I don't know what that means, Cicero. I discovered we're a system recently. We have a Kaiden introject who was married to Lucian in his source memories. I don't know what any of those words... Well, I know some of the words. I know system. I know Kaiden and Lucian and the word married. I don't know what any of the rest of that is. If you could elaborate, I would be fascinated to know what you meant by that. But yes, Imagination Gamer, you basically probably haven't seen me since the terrifying computer building, when I rebuilt the PC with the intention of playing Starfield, and we still haven't done Starfield streams. I've still only played half an hour of Starfield. But I'd love to do more Starfield streams at some point. That would be fun. But I haven't actually done them, but I'd like to make that happen. You should also say hello to Isadora, Czech's cat. Hello, Isadora! Hope you're being given lots of treats and snuggles from Czech. I got to spend lots of time with Grey over the Christmas break, and it was really nice, but now I really miss her. So, give her snuggles for me. Starrill, don't worry about the subtitling thing. Anything you do is absolutely wonderful and appreciated, but please don't stress about it. Imagination Game on my PC is doing great at the moment. It's extra whizzy with the new CPU, and that makes me very happy. Oh, Kotsuka says there would be no need for a mod for Lucian in the game because it has its own creation for characters. You can add your own lore to the gameplay without any other mods, but the Elder Scrolls mod. Oh, so you mean just create it on my end and then stream it? You didn't mean actually make a mod Lucian for that, but just create it on my own end. Oh, that's something we could do on a stream sometime, if that's what you mean. Philip Morgan says, thanks for making Lucian. It makes Skyrim a lot more fun. Thank you, Philip. That's very kind of you to say. Kotsuka said, I would presume it will be a playthrough. Right, okay, got it. Sorry, I'm miles behind in the chat. I'm catching up as ever. Hello, Pablo. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to you too. Gosh, I'm talking fast. When are we getting Cyberpunk Joseph? I might do a stream sometime showing off some engineering stuff. Why not? How would Lucian find Apocrypha? Knowing him, he'd probably get lost there. Lucian should never, ever go to Apocrypha because it would be the most terrible place for him to be because he would almost instantly succumb to temptation of all the forbidden knowledge that's there. It's a terrible, terrible idea. Never put him there. He would immediately go dark side. And there'll be no getting him back. Ripchen, why are you cutting onions? Do you work as a chef? Are you a chef? Well, that would make the most sense, the Ripchen. If you don't work in a food preparation environment, cutting onions for your work would be a strange thing to do. So I'm going to assume that you are an onion cutting person as part of the job. But look forward to finding out. Thank you, Blue, about remastering and republishing Dad's creations. That's kind. Present 99 asking about Gary, Smart Blue Cat. Gary is doing well, last I heard. I mean, it's all obviously very busy for him. He's a very, very busy man. But I catch up with him every now and again. And he's delightful as ever. Seems to be doing all right. Captain Greencoin would like to know, I would love to know if you have any plans for dialogue for Lucian in the Beyond Skyrim Cyrodiil mod when that comes out. Yes! Sure I will. Well, depending on what's happening in my life when that happens. But we did interactions with Beyond Skyrim Bruma. I still want to expand those because there's still a lot more in there that he doesn't comment on. And yes, I'll totally continue expanding that for the rest of Cyrodiil when that comes out. I can't tell you where it'll be on my priority list or how long it'll take, but that is something I would definitely be keen to do. Haven't seen the Game Awards, K-Doodles. Hello, by the way, welcome to the stream. So I have no thoughts on it. Creepy says, can you make Lucian say, think, Mark, think? Hello there, my name is Lucian Flavius, and I'd like to say to you, think, Mark, think! Basically, we have an altar that is Kaiden, and source memories are his memories from before we split him. I still don't know what that means. What's an altar? What? A Singular Bee. Hello, been a while since I tuned in. Hello, A Singular Bee, hope you're well. Hope you're well and happy and good things are happening to you. Cyborg Monday would like to know, in a future update for Lucian, could we ask him about his cat? What a lovely idea! No one suggested that before. Yes, sure. Let's make that a thing. Let's make a conversation about Lucien's cat. Why not? Joseph lives, says the Northlander. I do live. I live fine. I live good, thank. Happy and breathing and all well. Ripton says, I am a chef. Then it makes sense. Keep chopping those onions. It's almost enough to make me tear up. How do you think Lucien would feel about meeting the hero of Kvatch? Everyone asks about this. How would Lucien feel about meeting X character from previous game or whatever? And obviously he'd nerd out. Yes, he'd have a lovely time nerding out. He'd want to know everything that they know. He wants to know all their history and what they've been up to and what life is like for them. He's keen to absorb any knowledge, and that includes people's lived experiences. And I think he would value people's lived experiences very highly in the whole knowledge situation. That makes sense, Kotsuka. Well, it's something, yeah, okay, sure. As a potential topic for a stream in the future, as a topic for a stream in the future, then yes, that's something that would be very cool to look into. Sure. Elizabeth, I cannot wait to ask Lucien about his cat. Well, I can't wait either. That will be fun. Let's make that happen. What would be the Flavius's Christmas menu? I don't know, Pablo, because I'm not hot enough on the lore. I don't know what is Saturalia meal a thing? Do they have a big meal for Saturalia in the Elder Scrolls? In Tamriel? I don't know that they do. I've not heard any mention of it. Let's have a quick Google of Saturalia. UESP Saturalia. Heralds the New Life Festival. Yeah. Says gift-giving, parties and parading. Reindeer are associated with the holiday. There's no mention of what food they might eat, but given reindeer are associated with the holiday, I assume they eat reindeer. Maybe. So maybe they all get around the table for a nice big bit of reindeer venison. Why not? And sweet rolls for dinner. And what was the other question? I've lost it. Oh, what would be the one thing Lucien would miss the most being away in Skyrim? His cat! Maybe. Tea? No, he gets tea in Skyrim, probably. Probably his family. His parents, his cat, all of that. He probably missed the most. How was your Christmas? Lovely, thank you, Captain. It was always going to be a rough one because it was the first Christmas without Dad, and I can't lie, it was extremely tough in that regard. But for what it was, it all worked out very nicely. So yes, thank you. It was a nice Christmas and a nice New Year. And yeah, it was okay. Thank you. How was your Christmas? Have I got to try Baldur's Gate 3 yet? No, I haven't. I haven't got it. I keep meaning to try and get it. It is a lot of money. If it goes on sale at some point, I will get it. And I want to play it at some point, but I haven't had time to sort of approach that one at any point. Will there be more Oblivion Adventures with Oblivious, or is that on pause? No, totally. I'd love to do more of those. Yes, would love to do more Oblivion Adventures. Sorry, as I say, haven't been streaming for a while. But let's totally get back into that. Sure, why not? Am I going to add more names for Lucien to say? Yes, I am. There are still... It's ridiculous now how long it's been. What has it been, like 2 years, 3 years, something? It's been a long time since the last Lucien main update. I've recorded a lot more names since then, specifically the ones that were requested by my Patreon supporters before the rule change from the Nexus that prevented me from doing that any further. So the final batch of names is still to be added. It will be in the next main update. We'll have the final batch of names. I'm not doing more kind of after that at the moment because we've already got a whole ton of names. But that's... There will be, yes, there'll be another big batch, and then that'll be it for the names. What was the... will I make a spell to summon Lucien? No, I won't, but I have a different idea for something I might do. to allow Lucian to more readily catch up with you, sort of on demand. Got a plan for that. Don't want to spoil it right now. What would Lucian's house-like dynasty name his family sigil look like? Well, he's obviously from House Flavius. And his sigil would be... I think I said this before. I think I made one up before, and I said, now someone go and draw it. Like a squirrel... I can't remember what I said. A squirrel riding a unicorn, wearing a stack of 4 top hats, being accompanied by an eagle with the head of a parsnip. So there you go. Did I get my PC up and running again after those upgrades? I did! It works! It all works great! This is what I'm streaming from. It's all really, really good. And I just never got around to doing the actual streams with the PC. That I justified the expense. You know, I said, I'm going to buy this new thing because it'll allow me to stream more. And then I didn't stream more because I'm useless. But it does work, and it's all lovely. And I'm looking forward to showing it off on the next video game stream. Thank you for the support, Philip and Ender. Will I get into Fallout? I've always wanted to try the Fallout games, but I've never got round to it. So, you know, I would like to at some point. I started, because I have an obsessive need to start from the beginning with games that I really struggle to get over, and I know you need to skip ahead with Fallout, but I did start Fallout 1 at some point and got through the first hour of it, and then I stopped. No, I know the thing to do is come in with like Fallout 3 or Fallout 4 or Fallout New Vegas or one of those, you know, and go from there. And I will at some point, probably. We'll see. It's on the list of many, many games I'd like to try. Ryan, Nexus only have a problem with Patreon in that the Nexus don't allow you to put your mod on the Nexus if it connects to a Patreon, where the Patreon allows you to make requests for content in the game. So the system I had before was where you could, if you're a Patreon supporter, you could make a request for what name I added to the game. And that, as far as Bethesda and everything were concerned, was fine, because the names were then available for everyone. I wasn't gatekeeping that feature for anyone. You didn't have to pay to unlock that feature. It was because there are a million names, there are millions of names I could add, and people were suggesting which names I would add as a sort of special thank you for the Patreons. It was kind of in a grey area, but it was considered okay. The Nexus changed their rules to say, okay, anything like that where patron input leads to a change in the actual mod was not allowed. Now, as it happens, there are still many quite high-profile mods that do still continue to offer very, very similar features like that, but at the time, I was specifically told not to do that anymore, and the Nexus is the platform from which everyone gets my mods. I owe all of Lucian's success to the Nexus, so, you know, what they say goes. That's what we do. So I had to pull the feature. So it's not a thing anymore. Or rather, people can't make requests anymore. But as I say, I am still obviously honouring the requests from people who already pledged before that point because they paid for that and they're going to get that. So that's still going to happen. But I'm not going to I can't keep adding more now. Oh, I love that, Kevin. You teleport to Lucian instead of him being teleported to you. Oh, how fantastic. And I can make it so he could just summon you when he's in combat. You know. Just randomly, if Lucian's and goes like, oh, and now you know how it feels. You know how it feels to be summoned. Sure. Did I hear about the Oblivion remaster? No, I didn't. Is that an officially announced thing, or was that just a thing that was rumoured based on leaks? I know there's Skyblivion, if that's what you're talking about, Philip. And I'd love to make some kind of Lucian interaction with it at some point. But I don't think we have any official confirmation on an Oblivion remaster. So I'd take that one with a pinch of salt. A big old bucket of salt, as they say. No Imagination Gamer. I've never heard of Medieval Dynasty. Kotsuki Kuroriko. Yeah, they're different due to the swapping creators. Fallout 1 to 2 are more talking based, if I remember. And the rest are first-person shooters. Sure. No, that makes sense. Pablo, if money was no object, what would you love to do that otherwise might be too expensive? Easy! I would make a Treacle People Season 3. If I had infinite money, or if money were no object for content creation, first port of call, I would make Season 3 of the Treacle People. Do it. but that would cost huge amounts of money to do. So as much as I'm keen to continue to push the Treacle People as much as I can, actually making a third season of it is off the table without some serious crowdfunding. So no. But if I had no money, that would be if I had infinite money, that would definitely be it, Pablo. Imagine teleporting Lucian when he's in the middle of high tea with his acquaintances. You just show up unannounced, covered in gore, like, "Hi, Lucian." Who would he be having high tea with? Doomsbufar and Clive, all wearing little hats and sipping from little china teacups. "I am enjoying this Lapsang Souchong." Yes, it's very relaxing, isn't it? That's your little snippet of how that would go. When do you get to the point of training Lucian? You get to you unlock it after he gets to like you well enough. After you get to a high enough approval with him, you'll find it. All that information is on the website. But your best bet, if you want to trigger that, is to complete quests with him that he recognizes. Again, the list of which is on the website. And then when he likes you enough, if you ask him, when he likes you, when he likes you enough, he'll ask you to train him. Any games I'm playing right now? What am I playing right now? I'm currently playing Super Mario RPG on the Nintendo Switch. I'm playing Dragon Quest, which I'm loving. I'm playing Dragon Quest V on my phone, which is, again, a really good game. Loving that. Sorry, these are very random. And on PC, I recently finished Sonic Superstars and the Ghostbusters video game, both of which I enjoyed greatly. I can't think of anything. Oh, I'm also still finishing off Jurassic World Evolution 2. I'm playing through the Fallen Kingdom campaign, the last one, the most recent one. Dominion, playing through the Dominion campaign. But again, I haven't touched that in ages. Those are the main ones I'm playing at the moment. Yeah, that's all we got right now. But we'll see. Obviously, also the streams that I've been doing. That I was doing ages ago, where I left stuff half finished. Yeah, stuff like that. No, I haven't played Baldur's Gate 3 yet. You're the second person to ask that at the moment. But yeah. Sorry, just catching up with the chat. Will we get to teach Lucian more spells? Yes! We'll totally do more Lucian spells. In future updates. Definitely. And will I be adding commentary about the Mythic Dawn creation? Yes, once I've played it. I still haven't got my character to a high enough level to begin it yet. But once I've played it, yes. Sure. How's January so far? Well, we're only 6 days in, but so far it's pretty good. How would Lucian get along with Taliesin? I read in Talieson's credits you helped Dynamite a little bit. I'm not sure what you're talking about, Lilix. It might be that I'm not familiar with the username. It might be that that's somebody who I had as one of my modding students, because I do private tuition, and sometimes people hire me to teach them modding, help them with their followers. So maybe it's one of those, but I can't personally remember, and I'm not familiar with the character, I'm afraid. Sorry. Thank you so much for the donation, Ryan. That's really kind of you. We'll put it in the kitty for Treacle People Season 3. Sure. Thank you. We just need another $4 million or something. We can probably do it. I don't actually know how much it costs to make a stop motion animated series, but I think the costs are very high. Would Lucian enjoy South Park? Probably not. His sensibilities are probably a bit too, what's the word? You know what I mean. It would probably not his sense of humor necessarily. No. Autistic Girl 12. I added Lucian to Tomodachi Life. Now that's a Switch thing, isn't it? Like with Mii's or something? That's cool. Okay. There was a plan. Okay, Studio. Good question. And we're running out of time on the stream because I need to jump across the Treacle people in a bit. But it's a survival management game. No, sorry, I've lost it. Where are we? Here we are. I remember there was a plan to make Lucian mod in Starfield. Do you want to still make it, or is this plan cancelled? Honestly, that plan's got a big question mark over it. It's got a pin in it. Because it's like Starfield. Let's be honest about it. It hasn't done as well, I think, as Bethesda hoped it would. There's been a lot of criticism of it. It's not yet clear how much longevity it's going to have as a game. It certainly doesn't seem to be sticking around like Skyrim did. However, mods for Starfield are not... I mean, they are a little bit of thing, but like they haven't released a creation kit yet. And I think the big sort of proof in the pudding, as it were, will be when they release that to see what happens. Because it was always mods that carried Skyrim forward. You know, it made it into a massive thing. Fallout 4, all these things, they continue to persist because of mods. So we will see what happens with Starfield as to whether, when the mods come out for it, it becomes a massive success or not. And based on that, I will make a decision as to whether to go ahead and continue to make Lucian for Starfield. At the moment, it's, you know, because that would be a many, many hundreds of hours job to make him for Starfield, and I wouldn't want to put all that time into it if only 100 people were going to play it. You know, I'd want to do that if there were a big enough kind of market for it. So we'll have to see. Thank you so much for the support, Pablo. That's so lovely of you. Thank you. Really appreciate that. Hello, Shirley. Lovely to see you, Shirley. Hope all's well with you. Lovely to have you drop by. Sending all best wishes. Hope you've had a lovely New Year and a lovely Christmas. Okay, so guys, lots of questions and everything still going on. Lots of chat still going on, which is really cool. Oh, thank you so much, Present99. That's so hugely generous of you. Thank you. That's really kind of you. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much. That goes a long way. Right, what I was saying was that the Treacle People Season 2 starts today, and Episode 1 goes live in 5 minutes. So I'm going to be tuning in for that premiere. And I would really love it if you guys could tune in as well. I was thinking of ending the stream to go across to that, but actually thinking about it, I see no reason why I can't keep the stream open while we go across to Season 2. But I would really appreciate it if you guys could come with me in the chat. That would be really nice. So, I would love that. I'm going to put a little sort of temporary holding screen on this stream while we go and watch it. You don't need to have seen any of Season 1 to understand it and enjoy it. Don't stress about that. It's got a little recap at the start. It'll be great. But yeah, if you guys who are watching could jump across to the Treacle People, that would be absolutely fantastic. I'll just drop a link in the chat. So this is a show, you know, if you haven't seen or heard, if you've only just jumped into the stream, this is a show my dad made. My late father back in 96, Season 1 came out, 97, Season 2 came out. It's a stop-motion animated comedy. It's really funny. I grew up, you know, absolutely loving it, and I've been remastering it and re-releasing it on YouTube for free on the official Treacle People YouTube channel. And yeah, I'm trying to make it into as big a thing as I can, and it would be absolutely fantastic if you could tune in. I've just dropped the link in the chat to the episode, and yeah, it's about to start in the next few minutes, and if you could jump across, that would be brilliant. I've actually prepared, when I was thinking of doing this before, and I never actually got around to doing a stream while it was happening, I prepared a little slide. Let's just try. Oh no, that's not right. That's way too small. Let's stretch that out. There we go. So there's the link. Links in the chat, and you can see that's what you should type in. It says, I'm watching the Treacle People, and you should too. So, yeah, it'll be 10 minutes, and then we'll come back here Yeah, please do get in the chat over on that to try and get that chat buzzing and everything. I prefer that the chat were all kind of there. And then come back here afterwards and let me know what you thought of the episode. I think you'll love it. I love it. It's a lot of the same kind of comedy from there goes into Lucian. And, a lot of my stuff is inspired by the nonsense I grew up watching from that. And I think you'll love it. So, do enjoy. If anyone jumps in the chat who you see while we're on this and doesn't know where everyone's gone, switch over to, it will tell them to switch over to the Treacle People. But yeah, okay, I'm going to stop here and I'm going to be on the Treacle People premiere. Okay, bye-bye. You take the high road and I'll take the low road, and I'll be in Sabden before you Hello! Welcome back! I'm still here! The stream continues, sort of unplanned. I had thought of finishing when Treacle started, but I'm here, and there's more. I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you so many of you for coming across with me to the channel. That was the biggest viewership we've had for a premiere ever. So this was a great idea. We should do this every week. Maybe we will. But I did really appreciate having you guys come across, so thank you so much. I really hope you enjoyed the nonsense. I loved watching it again. I mean, I've seen it like 4 times in the last few weeks because I've been doing the subtitles, because I have to write out all the subtitles for every episode, and then I have to synchronize them as well. So I have to write out everything that all the characters say, and then I have to sort of crop them to line them up with the audio all the way through, so that the whole thing is subtitled for accessibility. I've done that for all of season 1 and for the Christmas special, and then over the last few weeks I've been doing it for that one as well, so I've seen it many times now, but I do still love it. So yeah, it was lovely. I loved the porridge stirring thing. I think there's a lot of good gags in that episode in particular. It's a very joke dense episode, which I like a lot. You know, right from the opening, it is a time of civil war, you know, which is just stupid. And yeah, you've got the porridge gag. You've got a lot of blink and you'll miss it visual gags, like with Nico Pendle's riot and all his signs and how excited he is to do the epidemic roadblock and everything. There's a lot going on. One of my favourite things, I put this in the chat as the Treacle People channel kind of thing, but I'll say it again. The haggis, the bagpipe creature, Sterling the haggis, is played by my dad. My dad only told me about this when we started doing the Treacle People stuff, this remastering kind of back in March, shortly before he died, actually. He just sort of casually mentioned to me, oh yeah, I was Sterling. And I was like, what? And he learned the bagpipes specifically for the role, so that he plays any bagpipe noise made by Sterling the haggis is dad on the bagpipes. And apparently he'd walk up and down the corridors at LWT, which is where it was all animated at the London studios. He'd walk up and down the corridors learning and practicing, so all the other crews and casts and everyone else in the building all heard him going away on the bagpipes. I don't think he ever became particularly good as such, but he got it to a point that was good enough to make the noises for a bagpipe creature. The actual properly played bagpipes, where there's actually like tunes and things as part of the soundtrack, I don't think that is him. I think he's specifically like the ridiculous noises made by Sterling. But yeah, did he still own the bagpipes? I don't think so. I never saw bagpipes in our house at any point, so I can only assume he borrowed them for the purpose of it. So yeah. But anyway, it's nonsense. I love it. I hope I hope you guys enjoyed it. Shirley, it looks like, if you're still watching by this point, Shirley, it looks like you're watching about 10 minutes behind everybody else, which is great to see your comments. They're coming through with about a 10-minute delay, so you're probably just about to watch the Treacle People. Oh no! Hang on, no, Shirley, you've caught up. About him humming the theme song. No, you have caught up. I stand corrected. Ignore everything I just said. No, you've caught up because you just said it. You just read Cicero's comment. So yes, I think you've caught up, unless you're behind on the chat. I don't know. I don't know whether you can hear me or not right now. Let me know if you can. But it would be a fun Easter egg, wouldn't it, to have Lucian hum the theme song? That would be fun. Maybe I'll put it in there in another update. You know, it could be another Easter egg that people will complain about in the comments, because every now and again I get people in the comments going, oh, well, Lucian is fourth wall breaking because he has Easter eggs and I hate that and it's unimmersive and law breaking and blah, 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 blah. And I hear them. And it's a fair criticism to say that sometimes the Easter eggs might remind you that it's that it is a mod, and that's fair. I mean, they're Easter eggs, right? Skyrim itself has Easter eggs. I think they're a bit of fun. Maybe one day I'll make an alternate version that turns them off. But I don't think, and I do contest the fourth wall breaking thing. Lucian never breaks the fourth wall. He has comments, you know, he'll occasionally hum, you know, something like the Skyrim theme. And my justification for that is he's humming something he just made up. You know? The underground, overground, adventuring free, the Skyrim theme, when he occasionally quotes when he occasionally quotes Star Wars, all those things, he's just making them up. They're not in universe, they're not anything. They're just noises he's making, things he wants, funny things he thinks of to say. They're not, you know, and there is no point when he ever says anything that he couldn't have just made up himself. He never claims knowledge of outside the universe or anything like that. It is always just an Easter egg. It's something that he's just come from his brain. So it's fine. But, no, to be fair, Stonks, about the Postman Pat thing, I was joking when I said about it being a legally allowed letter delivery tune. It is the Postman Pat theme, and it was licensed to the show. A lot of the animating team for the Treacle People also worked on Postman Pat. And they also worked on Tom and Vicky, which is where that cat came from later on. So it's just a little bit of a crossover kind of thing. It was also an ITV show at the same kind of time. And yeah, the theme tune is used with licensing in that short bit there. So that's that. There was a comment on the Instagram, on the Treacle People Instagram, where someone said, "Oh, you've ripped it off from Postman Pat." I'm like, no, they didn't rip it off. They just licensed it. It was just a licensed crossover. Is that not okay? There's another show that does that later on that you'll enjoy as well, when that comes across. But yeah. I don't know why the chat always delays so much in popping up on the side of the feed here for these. It's very strange. But there you go, it's just catching up there. How am I holding up? I'm holding up well. Thank you, Kid Saga 211. How are you holding up? Studio says, I wrote a book called Lonely Worlds. I did. I wrote Lonely Worlds. It's available on Amazon for $1.99 if you want to get it. But I did write a book called Lonely Worlds. Am I writing anything new right now? I mean, yes. I have things on my hard drive that I have been writing, but I'm not sort of actively, dedicatedly working on a writing project at the moment. I would like to. I often wake up and think, oh, today I'll do some writing, and I never do because of time. But I do have some other projects that I would like at some point to get around to following through on. But nothing that's at a stage yet where I'm really ready to talk too much about it, because it will probably go away again. But yeah, I had some different ideas, different things I'd like to explore, some different genres I'd like to dip into. There's a story I wanted to write that I think at some point will become a novel that's actually sort of... It's a sort of more on the horror side, which isn't my normal vibe at all. And I don't know whether I'll actually ever write it all the way through and release it or what. It was just an idea I had that I thought kind of worked, that I wanted to pursue. It'll probably be quite a light horror, you know, not horrible, gory kind of stuff. It's more just a sort of, it's a monster, you know, a monster story kind of thing, you know, that I wanted to do, sort of dipping a little bit into kind of cosmic horror kind of thing, just because I wanted to explore that sort of, I hesitate to say Lovecraftian, because there's a lot of baggage that comes with that, but I wanted to explore some of that slightly cosmic, you know, otherworldly fear kind of element. So there's a thing like that I'd like to do at some point, but that I'm talking confidently about that because I know I'll almost certainly never actually get around to writing or indeed finishing it. But that was just one of the things that I was sort of thinking about. Cosmic spookiness, that's a good idea, Northlander. Cosmic spookiness. Anyway, Sirius says, I recently started making a follower with the creation kit using a lot of your follower tutorial. Just want to say thank you for making the series. It's work in progress still, but getting there. So thank you. I'm so glad to hear it. I hope it's going really well. Tell us about your followers, Sirius. What are you working on? Lil X Productions, do you know how they achieved the boomerang flying effect in stop motion? No, I don't. And that's a really good point. Let's have a look. Let's see if we can spot it. If I... Let me just copy this into a... Hang on, and I'll do a screen share so you can see what I'm looking at. You take the high road and I'll take the low road. Okay, right, let's do a... Yeah, they often did use wires. But, oh, Infinite Joseph. Sorry, I know that's always wacky to look at. They often did use wires, but the thing is now we've remastered it in HD. Often you can see them these days. So, where's the scene? Here we are. Right. And let's play it. Let's slow playback speed. Right. Hang on. Was that a stick? Brilliant, then. Okay. And she throws it. There you go. Look, there's a stick. Can you see? There's a little stick coming off the table holding the boomerang. I can't see what's holding it there. The stick's gone. And it's kind of in the air. So that I've got to give to them. I can't see how that one's done in that frame. Or indeed in that frame. There's nothing anymore. Any ideas? Can you guys see anything? I can't see anything there. But then from there onwards, it's got a bit sticking out of shot. So they could be holding it from there. And again from the top. But yeah, definitely a stick right at the start with. And then I don't know. Je ne sais pas. Maybe it's stuck. Maybe it's stuck to Lil's face. Yeah, could have been Starrel, I guess. Yeah. But there's a scene in episode 7 of series 1 where the Boggarts are walking up a wall, and you can see the first few steps, they're okay, and as they get towards the top, you can see they have got a wire on them to hold them, because obviously there was an issue with the Boggarts falling off. You know, so you can see these tricks, which you never would have been able to see when it was broadcast. But you can see now because... yeah, because it's all in HD. So that's one of the downsides of doing that. But yeah. Shirley, no, Lucian only talks about having a cat, but it's not actually a thing that appears in the mod at any point. He references it when you've got him with Inigo. But the cat never appears, I'm afraid. And I'm unlikely to ever include it. But he has one back at home. That's awesome, Sirius, that you're using your own voice and writing with grammar corrected by friends, wrote about 21 lines of dialogue and voiced it as a Reachman. That sounds really cool. Good for you. Well done. Hope it's going well. Yeah, you could be right, Lil X Productions. They could have moved the stick to a line towards the camera, which would have been particularly sneaky. I don't know whether they actually did that. I have no way of knowing. I could ask Martin next time I speak to him. Martin Pullen was the director of animation, and he might remember the sorts of tricks they used. But no, I don't know for sure. Panicked Monk. So just as a recap, the PC is working great. I have had my assessment on my dissertation. I passed with minor corrections. I've made those corrections, but I haven't heard back about them, so I can't technically call myself a doctor yet. But I'm very, very close. I just have to get the corrections accepted, and then I get there. The Treacle People was never shown. No, hang on. The Treacle People was shown in the UK, and there were dubs for it made in French and in Spanish. So there are unfortunately, only 2 episodes still exist in French. Episodes 2 and 3, we have the French dub for. And we have Spanish dubs for episodes 1 to 12 of season 1 and episodes 1 to 12 of season 2. But sadly, we're missing both the episodes 13 of both season 1 and season 2 and the Christmas special in the Spanish dubs. But when YouTube multi-language audio comes out, which they announced like a year ago and still haven't actually rolled out to us, but when that comes out, I'll totally add those dubs to the Treacle People episodes so you can switch language. But no, it never came out in Sweden, so that's why you've never come across it. This YouTube release is the first time it's being made internationally available, which is really exciting, and I wish Dad were around to see it. But he was really excited about it, and I'm really glad that new people are getting to see it, It's really fun. What does Lucian's cat look like? I don't know, I haven't decided, but my cat is grey. And when people have done fan art for Lucian with his cat, they've drawn my cat, which is really nice. And I like that idea. I like him having the idea of him having the same cat as me. It's cute, a nice nod to her. So a grey cat, if you like. Will we ever get to meet Lucian's mum or dad? No, probably not, because that would involve hiring voice actors and all of that. And it would just be it'll be a big hassle. So it's not something that I'm thinking of doing anytime soon. Will I add the Ballad of Brendan Robinson to Spotify? Yes. There are some rights things to sort out with that, just to make sure we're doing all the right thing with the music licensing. But that should all be manageable. So I'm planning on releasing the Treacle People songs as a mini album to put on Spotify. So that will be the Ballad of Brendan Robinson. That'll be the Treacle People theme. That'll be the extended version of the Treacle People theme that you've never heard, including the Treacle Mining song. So it's sort of extended theme plus song. And it'll be Lil's single, Rough Diamond, Heart of Gold, which I can't wait to play to you because it's hysterical. But they will be coming out on the YouTube channel first, before they release... Oh, and it'll also include, Sticky Symphony. Sticky Symphony plays in the musical episode of the Treacle People Season 2 that you'll come to in a few weeks' time. I say musical episode, it's got one song, but it's a thing. So, yes, the Treacle People theme on its own is on YouTube. You'll find it on the Treacle People YouTube channel that we were just on. If you just stick on YouTube, Treacle People theme, you'll find it. So stick it in a playlist. And as is Brendan's song, and the rest of the songs I'll be releasing as music videos on the YouTube channel after season 2 finishes. Sorry, they were meant to come out a few months ago and I ran out of time to do it. But so when season 2 finishes, the following 2 weeks from that, I'm planning on doing the other 2 songs. So you'll be able to hear them then. And then probably after that, we'll hopefully be able to release them on Spotify. So that'll be fun. Will there be more follower tutorials in the future? Yes, there will be. So far, I've managed a rate of about 1 a year on average. But I will do more. It's always been on my to-do list. I want to follow it right the way through with all the features Lucian has, and I've only got as far as the basics. But yes, there will be more episodes at some point, because I know people really find them helpful. So there will be more. No plans concerning Lucian and Apotheosis. No, not at the moment. Are there any other Lucian quests after getting rid of the problem in his Dwemer dungeon? Not in the mod as you currently have it, General D, but there is a third and final quest for Lucian coming in a future update. I've been working on it since Lucian version 1 came out. It's got a new dungeon in a new sort of mini world space, and it's really cool, and it'll sort of conclude his arc, as it were. So that is something I'm working on. I've been teasing it for the channel members. Channel members can see some of the teaser images on my YouTube channel and on Patreon. So, that'll be the third and final quest. But that's not out yet, so it's just the 2 at the moment. What is your plans for Lucian for Beyond Skyrim Cyrodiil? As I said earlier in the stream, I plan to continue to expand Lucian's interactions that currently exist for Beyond Skyrim Bruma. I plan to continue to expand them for the rest of Beyond Skyrim as and when it comes out. Sure. Northlander Treacle is Yeah, it's like just if the easiest way is to think golden syrup. It isn't. It's sort of it's molasses. It's sort of a gloopier substance. It's a thick, syrupy substance. It's used to make parkin, and it appears in various cakes, in treacle tart, treacle sponge. You often get in the UK as sort of puddings. You don't come across it very often these days, but think golden syrup. It's essentially that. Oh, you don't have golden syrup either. Okay, a bit like maple syrup, it's syrup. Okay. Thank you for pledging, Batty Fluff. Thank you for becoming a channel member. Much appreciated. Yeah, I can't lie. There's a lot of elements of the treacle people that I guess don't translate outside of the UK. Like in the French dub, they don't even use. They make up a word for treacle. They call it caramelas, which is like caramel rock, kind of, or caramel molasses. Caramel. They could just call it this magical substance. But yeah, it's difficult to translate. It's a lot of Britishisms in it. But I hopefully you enjoyed it nonetheless. Melon Sap, you've asked that question, but do you want to know the answer? Because you're asking me, Joseph, hello Joseph, will you spoil the end of Lucian's quest line? I don't think you really want to know what will happen at the end of Lucian's third quest. I think you'd much rather play it when it comes out. I think that would be a much better way to experience the story. If Lucian was in the Hunger Games, his strategy would be to make friends with everyone. And we'd see how long that would last him. Oh, awesome. Sorry, that was a hypothetical. I'm absolutely not going to spoil my own story. I was just saying that to illustrate a point. I don't think you want me to spoil the story. So no, of course I'm not going to. Hello, Deputy Ritter. It's lovely to have you. I'm glad you think it's nice to see me streaming. All is going fine. Yes, it's all good. Don't worry, Lilex. I'm not going to spoil it. I'm not going to. I was making a point. Of course I'm not going to spoil it. Is that awesome? Says, is that a Boggart by my window? Yes! This is the prototype Boggart plushie. Only one was ever made, and I have him here. He's very valuable in that, sentimentally, and he's the only one that existed. But I don't think there's any actual market value. But, he's Bert the Boggart. Cuddly Bert the Boggart was made for the show, but no merchandise for the show ever actually got released for reasons I cannot fathom. It's all to do with ITV. ITV controlled all of that, and they didn't, for whatever reason, succeed in, despite many, many attempts, because I've read the letters and everything, many attempts by the production company and everything. There were huge attempts to try and make merchandising for it, but all the way it never got pushed through by ITV. They never made it happen. So this is the only one that exists, but it's a Cuddly Bert. His nose is a bit squooshed. I think it's just sort of wrinkled over time, his proboscis. But there he is. So I'm very happy to have him here in the background. There is Treacle People merch now, by the way. We have a Redbubble store. So if you do ever want Treacle People merch, you can get it from Redbubble. Because it's, print on demand stuff that I've set up. Because now we can these days, because we own and control all the rights and everything. But yeah, there never was at the time, but now there is. But you can't get a cut. We can't do plushies print on demand. Can't happen. But you can get t-shirts and hats and mugs and things. So there you go. What would Lucian's favourite breakfast food be if he was in our world? I think he'd like a nice egg on toast. Goes lovely with a cup of tea. Would I be up for someone collabing to play/create Lucian's parents? No, I wouldn't. Because Lucian is my baby. It's my project that I control and do at my own pace. And as soon as I bring in another actor or someone to play those key characters, I'm immediately then bound to their time, their availability, and their continued availability. And in the world of modding, people's availability comes and goes. People go on to other projects. People do other stuff. And if I cast someone to be Lucian's, Lucien's mum or Lucien's dad or whatever, and then I want to continue to use the character in a year's time or something, in something else, in a future Lucien project or something, and they're no longer available, I'm stuck. So I'm not keen to do that at the moment. It's not something I'm actively pursuing. I'm not recruiting people. I'm not auditioning. I'm not looking for that right now. And also, I don't think there's any need for it in the story, to be honest. His parents have their role. That's where he's come from. I know people are curious, but beyond curiosity to meet them, I don't think having them come to Skyrim serves any narrative function for the story that I'm trying to tell. So because of the difficulties in doing it, it's like it's making it tricky for no particular reward, and it's like it's just not something that I'm looking for. Would I ever add Treacle People Easter eggs in Lucien's dialogue? I don't think there are any in there. It's the sort of thing I might have slipped in, perhaps almost accidentally, in version 1 when I was making it. The thing is, Lucien's voice, right, sounds a lot like the prof from Treacle People. That was entirely accidental, but thinking about it, I'm sure that was a massive subconscious influence. Density within specified limits. Specific gravity. It must be, yes. I've found it! I found treacle in my own back garden! It's that sort of nonsense. Perhaps we could try banging 2 rocks together. Well, perhaps you could try banging 2 rocks together. I provide intellectual guidance. It is for others to execute the tangible implementation. I think I use the voice a lot, but I don't know whether there are any lines in there. Let me know if you spot any. Because there might be, but I don't think there are. I can't think of any. Will I ever do gameplay streams again, Batty asks. Absolutely, yes. More Oblivion, and I would love to get around to actually doing Starfield gameplay. And other things. I'd like to do a lot more gameplay, and I'd really like to get back into regularly streaming this year with gameplay stuff, gameplay streams, watch me play games with me, multiplayer streams. I am really keen to get back to doing the Mario Kart and Smash Bros streams. I'll probably, because those have very narrow specific appeal, I'll probably make them members-only streams. I think that'd be fun to do. It'd be fun to get back into that kind of thing again. That will also help keep the numbers down. But yeah, I'll probably do that. But yeah, I'd like to do lots more gameplay streams, for sure. How do I feel about people's fan fiction of Lucien and their take on his character? In the early days, I used to read Lucien fan fiction, just for fun. Some of them are quite odd. I don't anymore. I don't keep up with it anymore. But I think it's lovely. It's lovely to include Lucien. It's lovely that people want to do things with have their own take on the character, that they want to use them in their own stories and things. I think it's really nice. I think it's great. So by all means, go for it. It's just obviously, it's my character. I wouldn't want people using it in published work that they're trying to sell or anything, because I'd like to retain legal control over the character to do my own things with it in the future. But fan fiction, I love it. Yeah, sure. By all means. Which Daedric prince would Lucien find fascinating? Which ones would creep scare him? All of them would scare him. He doesn't trust any of them. But he would be, as I say, tempted by Hermaeus Mora's knowledge. So Hermaeus Mora, Lucien would be very wary of him, but I suspect Herma Mora could tempt Lucien to the dark side, as it were. So that would be his biggest weakness. Kids Saga, Skyblivion coming out in 2025. I've not heard that date, and to be honest, I don't care if they've announced it. I'll just tell you, it's not coming out in 2025. It's not coming out at any particular date. It might come out one day, but with that kind of massive project, never put a date on it. Never, ever put a date on it. Don't do it. I love the idea of Skyblivion. I'd love to play it. But it's the kind of modding project that you cannot possibly put a release date on. So maybe it'll come out at some point, maybe it won't. When it does, I'll play it. It'll be great. Why does my jumper look so snuggly? Also love the colour. Thank you! This was a Christmas present from my mum. It's very snuggly. It's very cozy. Keeps me warm. So thank you. Who would Lucian consider to be his best friend? Inigo, Kaiden, or Croc? Lucian would... It's a tricky one. I don't know. Lucian has the most wonderful friendship that develops with Inigo, and writing that with Gary was a hugely special time for me as a modder. I loved doing that. It was a dream come true. I was working with my modding hero, who's now a very good friend. Getting to write that with him was really, wonderful. So I'll always have a massive bias towards the work I did with Gary on the Lucian Inigo interactions. And I think that comes through in Lucian. I think a lot of the time you can hear in Lucian how excited he is, because it's how excited I am to be working with Gary on doing Lucian Inigo interactions and hearing Inigo say Lucian, or Julian. So that was very special. I haven't done anything with those DLCs, Stonks Boys. I would like to at some point, but it's not high on my priorities list. Will Lucian be interacting with anyone else? Yes, at some point, but I can't put any dates on it or promise when. There are so many people I've said I'll do interactions with who I haven't got around to actually doing interactions with. I'm a terrible person. I don't follow through or keep up with my promises when it comes to interactions working with other people, so I really should stop saying yes. But I will be doing more interactions at some point. I will be going through my backlog of shame in doing interactions with the people I've said I'll do interactions with eventually. And once again, I'm sorry. To all the people who are waiting on stuff from me, I'm so sorry. I do feel guilty about it. I will do it at some point. Meow. What do you mean how he made Inigo do an interaction with Lydia? Just splicing. That's all. Lucian does lots of spliced interactions. Most followers do spliced interactions with vanilla followers. I'm not keen on it myself. I'm not happy with the results. But yeah, it's very easy to splice. So, but I say easy. No, it's really hard work to splice because you have to find the right lines and put them together, and it's all just really tricky. But it's a long slog. But in principle, it's simple. That's what I'm saying. Okay, Shirley, you're hearing me. Right, you're hearing me. I'm just reading your comment of you saying you're so funny, Josie. First I'm hearing you. I'm glad you're enjoying the stream. So that's obviously the delay, which I think is about 10 minutes. So there you go. There is a delay, but you can obviously see the chat. So that makes sense. Well, it's lovely to have you here. I'm glad you're enjoying it. How does Lucian feel about Kai as a person? Do you mean Kaiden? If so, Lucian and Kaiden have a frosty relationship at first. I think that really is getting off on the wrong foot. I think Lucian really warms up to Kaiden, and Kaiden warms up to him, and I think they've got a good bond. I think they're very different personalities from different sort of worlds, yeah, they get on sort of in spite of that. It reminds me, in a kind of weird way, in a tiny bit. I was a massive nerd at school, and I had one friend who was a really good friend who was from the Populars, and yeah, we got on really well and had a really good friendship. But we were completely from different worlds. But that was fun, and it reminds me anyway of Lucian and Kaiden's kind of vibe of being two people who you wouldn't think would get on at all because they're from completely different backgrounds and completely different worlds, but they do get on. So there you go. Would Lucian trust a demi prince, Sheogorath's son? Probably more than he'd trust a Daedric prince. I don't know about Daedric princes having offspring. I don't think that's a thing in the lore. I've not heard of it anyway, and I can't comment on it, but sure. I think Lucian, it wouldn't prejudge anyone. I think he's wary of the Daedric princes because of their established, history. If this is a new person, then he wouldn't hold anything against them off the bat. Certainly not because of who their parents are. Yes, right. Yes, so splicing, you use Lazy Voice Finder. Absolutely. That makes life so much easier, is to use a Lazy Voice Finder to find the lines that you want. It's still really tricky, but it makes it easier. Where's the thing? Somebody said, I've lost it. There was a question. Oh yeah, which aspect of Lucian that's currently been released am I most proud of creating? I've said this many times before on streams, so apology if I sound like a broken record. I'm really proud of Lucian's cloak spell system, in that NPCs can only know one cloak spell at a time. Because if you teach, so I mean like Flame Cloak and Frost Cloak or whatever. If you teach an NPC 2 cloaks at the same time, all they will do is spam back and forth between them, because they cast Flame Cloak and then it goes, I haven't got Frost Cloak active, I better cast that. And casting that dispels Flame Cloak. So then the AI goes, I haven't got Flame Cloak active, I better cast that. And it'll spam back and forth until they run out of magicka. So NPCs can never know more than one cloak spell at a time. But with Lucian, I wrote a script for him that detects the enemy he's currently fighting at the start of combat. It detects the enemy he's up against, selects from the pool of cloak spells that you have taught him which spell is optimal. So if he's up against an enemy that has flame weakness, then he'll choose Flame Cloak. If he's up against an enemy with frost weakness, he'll choose Frost Cloak, whatever. He'll pick the optimal spell, and then he'll randomly select from that and other ones that might also be valid, such as Soul Cloak from Apocalypse, which he'll only choose if the enemy is soul trappable. Ash Storm, or whatever it is, Ash Cloak, whatever, the paralysis, the cloak, the Ash Cloak thing from the Dragonborn DLC. There's like an Ash Storm kind of thing that was around that only works on enemies who are paralyzable. So he'll only choose that if that's valid, and he'll randomly select from those ones that are valid and effective against enemies. And then he internally forgets all the other cloak spells, so he only knows that one spell for the duration of combat, or that one cloak spell for the duration of combat. And then once combat ends, or when he starts a new combat, it'll reselect which cloak spell to use, but only from the pool that you've taught him. So he actually, from the AI's point of view, he only ever knows one cloak spell at a time, so he can't spam them. But from your point of view as a player, he acts as though he knows them all and is choosing one. And I love that. No one ever notices it, or very few people ever notice it, but it makes me really happy that that's a feature. And it means it's useful to teach him more than one cloak spell, rather than being, actively detrimental. So that's what I'm most proud of. That was a very happy day of coding when I got that working. By all means, Blue. Yeah, sure. Have a poke around Lucian to figure out how to have Zelda's change combat style. Yeah, go for it. That's how people learn to mod, right? You got to pick through each other's mods. Imagination Gamer, you noticed that when you were fighting an Ice Atronach, you went for Flame Cloak. Exactly. It works. It just works. It just works. Do I have any other pets? I only have Grey. And she lives at home with my mum. Because I'm in rented accommodation here. And I'm not allowed pets. And also, Grey grew up in that house. So I wouldn't move her from it anyway. So no. Just the one. Just the one kitty. Would Lucian feel comfortable travelling with a hag raven or witch who's more focused on quests rather than grotesque rituals and killing people? Let me put it this way, Lilex. How comfortable would you be if you had a friend who just occasionally sacrificed people? How would you feel about that? Personally, I wouldn't be keen on hanging around with someone who just occasionally sacrificed people. And I think it's a similar vibe with Lucian. If the number of people, it depends on to what extent they focus. If they focus on quests to the point that the number of people they ritually sacrifice is 0, then that works for Lucian. But if there's a non-zero number of human sacrifices, then I think he and I would be wary of that. So let's minimize that number to 0. Yeah? Hello, Jesus in Skyrim. How do you make Lucian be able to react to the NPCs from other mods without having those mods as masters? It's a script called getFormFromFile. We use getFormFromFile to grab the NPC reference from the other mod, we save it into an alias, and we condition dialogue based on that alias. If Lucian had access to our world's music, would he like rock? Probably not. No, He'd probably be into classical music. Probably. I'm personally not so much into it. I'm not quite that cultured. I don't listen to very much classical music. I like a lot of classical music that's used in film, like the sound, or in TV, like the soundtrack to Daredevil season 1 to 3 on Netflix. I love, but yeah, not. But yeah, so Lucian would probably be into like really sophisticated, like Mozart and all that kind of thing, because he's a nerd. Such a nerd. Do I have plans for more Lucian the Dragonborn? Yes, I do. Sorry, I've already answered that on the stream. I do. I just need to get around to it. Time commitment, difficult. But yes, I do at some point, for sure. What music genre from our real world do you think you would least enjoy? Is Screamo still a thing? It was a thing when I was at school. Probably wouldn't be keen on that. Bit loud for his delicate ears. I'm sure he would enjoy Ode to Joy. Yes, probably. Metal. He would not like metal. No. Although he'd be fascinated by it because, you know, show an electric guitar to a fantasy magical man. He'd be like, what is this? But yeah. So there you go. I think I've finally caught up on the chat. I think that's all the questions. What would Lucian's favourite ice cream flavour be? That's a tricky one. There's always the temptation to just say what my favourite ice cream flavour is, but he is a different character. I really like anything like ultra, double, triple chocolate. Whatever, as many chocolate, quadruple chocolate, give it whatever, all the chocolate. However, I also love a lemon sorbet. I feel that Lucian would be more towards the sorbet end than the chocolate end. I personally don't like strawberry ice cream because I like strawberries, but I don't like strawberry flavour things. I always find them over sweet, over artificial. However, Lucian, I think, probably would be more on board with that. So yeah, maybe strawberry. Maybe like a raspberry. Something berry, I think. Most frustrating part of Lucian to figure out how to do. Or to figure out how to do. I don't know, because I don't find something challenging frustrating. I enjoy things that are challenging. What I find frustrating is when something should work, but doesn't. So probably the thing that I found the most frustrating was the bug that people reported where Lucian would dismiss himself on game load for a very small percentage of people. He had at the time, 10,000 downloads or something, and like 5 of them were commenting that Lucian was occasionally dismissing himself on game load. Never figured out why. To this day, I don't know why. All I did was I put a sticking plaster on the problem. I put a band-aid on the problem, as you Americans say. I wrote a script that detects on game load should Lucian... I made a global variable when you recruit Lucian that's set to 1 when he's recruited. So is he recruited, it's set to 1, and when you dismiss him, it's set to 0. So when he leaves you for a way that should work, it's set to 0. So whether you dismiss him or he abandons you or whatever. And then I said I had with the script on game load, it checks, is Lucian recruited? Yes or no. And if he's not recruited, i.e. he's dismissed himself, but that global variable is still 1, then it re-recruits him. And all that happens instantaneously while your screen is still black as it's loading. So what was happening is in the case where he is randomly dismissed for these people, it checks, should he still be recruited? Yes, he should. So reapply it, re-recruit him immediately, and he's back in the squad. So you never know. It's really frustrating because it's not a solution. Well, it is a solution because it works, but it's like I didn't solve whatever the underlying issue was because I could never figure it out or reproduce it myself. But I stuck a thing on it saying, well, that won't be a thing anymore. That's probably the most frustrating part of the development process. Because it's not neat, it's not tidy, it doesn't solve it. It's like it's painting over dry rot. Which parts of Tamriel are Lucian's favourite and which are his least favourite? That's tricky because he hasn't seen much of Tamriel. He's seen Cyrodiil and he's now seen Skyrim. I think he would love to go to Atmora. Somewhere, as far as he and his history and everything are concerned, undiscovered. Somewhere undiscovered. Go to a new place where there is no information about, or very little information about. Even though there might be, people living there already or whatever, but something that he knows nothing of and his people know nothing of. To be the first, a discoverer, an explorer. That would be his favourite. If that helps. If Lucian had to create a distraction in Riften instead of Brynjolf, how would he distract people? With a song! He'd make up a song to sing to everyone. And it would be great. Would he go to Akavir? Yes, Akavir as well. Definitely. Anywhere like that. Akavir, Atmora, all these places that are relatively undiscovered. Totally. Or to an outer realm. New stuff. Yes, exactly, Northander. I stopped the bleeding, but I didn't figure out what made the cut. Absolutely. Yes. Would he go to Basildon? I've never been to Basildon, Starrel. So I don't know. Shall we go to Basildon? Let's have a look at Basildon. Basildon, a town in England. Basildon. Now look, it's nice. Near Southend-on-Sea. Sort of east of London, over here. Basildon. Very good. Let's have a look at it from a sort of satellite point of view. Let's have a zoom in. Now, how do we make it 3D? I can never remember how to do that. Where's the button? Ooh! Basildon! Lovely. Looks very nice. Here we are. Let's do it. Hello there, my name is Lucian Flavius. No, what's this? Is it a portal? I appear to be being pulled through. Ah! What is this place? These roads. These trees. It's all so organised. This strange stone. It's almost like it's been poured. And what are these white lines? And goodness me! Some kind of metallic carriage. What is this? Some sort of vehicle system. Perhaps Dwemer in structure? Yes. Fascinating. And I wonder what these green receptacles are. Are these storage containers? Perhaps they contain food? Maybe I should have a look inside. No, I don't think I will. I shall continue walking along this road in this glorious place that is called the Nazing, which I think is amazing. Fascinating. What a lovely day here today in the Nazing. Very, very good. Creasy Court. Creasy, what a lovely name. Creasy Court. Well, I think we can all agree that this has been a fascinating tour through Basildon. There you go. Hope you enjoyed that. Hope that answered your question. There you go. Good. Would he go to Hammerfell? Lucian would go everywhere, including Basildon. Especially Creasy Court, the Nazing, Basildon. His true destiny. Right. Okay, folks. I think that I really ought to head off at this point. It's been a lovely little stream. I've enjoyed it very much. I hope you've enjoyed it too. I think I'm gonna make a move, go and get myself some dinner and stuff. But yeah, this has been really, really fun. I will be doing lots more streams in future, I say. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll disappear for another 6 months. I don't plan on it. I plan on coming back and doing more. But my life is unpredictable sometimes. We'll never know. We'll see. But hopefully you'll see more of me sort of within the next week. We'll do more gameplay and everything. That'll all be great. But in the meantime, there is one thing you can do for me, which is please watch The Treacle People. If there are any episodes of it you haven't seen, I hope you enjoyed it earlier in the stream. If there's anything you haven't seen, please do go and watch it. It would mean the world to me. It's really a thing I'm trying to make into as big a thing as I possibly can. It's very funny. It means so much to me, and I'd really like it to become a success. So please do go and watch the rest of the episodes if you haven't watched them. Tune in every Saturday for more. Subscribe to the channel. That would mean the world to me. So please do tune in to The Treacle People. I'll drop the link again in the chat for those of you who don't. In fact, actually, no, the link is under the stream. It's in the stream description. It says The Treacle People, so click that. It's under the stream in the description. Go watch the episodes, subscribe to the channel, and that'll make me very happy. Right, I'm going to head off now. Have a good one. Look after yourselves, and I will see you on the next one. Toodle, as they say